So the next question is, how much cash is prudent to hold? Because we talked about how holding too much cash has opportunity cost, inflation, etc. So how much cash is prudent? So the standard advice is to have 6 months of your monthly expenses as an emergency fund. So, for example, if you spend $5,000 per month, then you should have an emergency fund that is 5,000 times 6, which is 30,000. Okay, so this is not include if you're saving for a car or if you're saving for other things. You may want to set aside cash for those expenses if they're coming up. This is just for an emergency fund to kind of smooth out your earnings if something came up unexpected. So this is kind of the standard advice, 6 months. You can also adjust this based on how secure your sources of income are and whether you have diversified sources. So, for example, if you have a very secure job, like if you work for the state or work for the government or something like that, uh, or you have many non-correlated sources of income, such as a job, real estate investments, business, side hustle, you can potentially hold less cash. However, if your earnings are lumpy, let's say you're just starting a business and the business is uncertain whether it's gonna give you steady income, at least upfront, then you may want to have a larger cash savings to kind of smooth you over until things work themselves out. So, uh, an example I give here is a pro athlete. So, they have very lumpy earnings because let's say I think the average career for a football player is like 3 or 4 years. So, you're gonna make a lot in those 3 or 4 years, and if you spend all of it, you're probably not gonna, that wouldn't be the wisest decision because uh, you're acting as if you're going to be earning that income for forever, but you're really not. So if you have lumpy earnings like that, then it's better that you hold more cash or you figure out ways to diversify your income by investing, um, career change, etc. Okay, so what are some tips that I can give you for managing your cash? The first is to establish the emergency fund before you consider investing or spending on luxury items or other discretionary purchases. Um, and let's say you have to spend like some money out of your emergency fund. You should replenish it before you consider spending your money on anything else after that. So basically, the emergency fund should come first, and keeping it kind of topped off should be a priority before you consider other uses of your cash. You should pay your bills on time so they don't accumulate and lead to a cash shortfall. So, uh, basically, if you if you don't pay like your credit card bills or whatever bills you have on time, uh, it's just going to accumulate. It's not like they're going to disappear. So, if you pay everything on time, you can have a better sense of your budget and kind of what your cash needs are. So you know you can more prudently plan your finances. And of course, if you don't pay your bills on time, there's often fees or penalties or interest. So you're just going to be saving on those things if you pay your bills on time. You can also place your income into buckets. So savings, investment, long-term goals come first, and then use the remaining cash that you have for basic and discretionary items. So basically, this is advocating a save first kind of mentality. Because if you cannot save, then maybe you're living you're living beyond your means. Okay, and that could be uh, something to do with your housing, or whatever kind of expenses that you have, you may need to reduce because if you can't save anything, then the way that you're living is kind of unsustainable, and it may take some kind of drastic action to fix that. Um, I can just tell you that the just being from an immigrant background, I know the stories of the younger or the older generation basically when they came, they would share uh housing and to save on that just so they could accumulate some cash to invest in businesses or invest in other things. Um, so there's no shame in uh, downgrading your lifestyle so that you can save and kind of uh, have the long term kind of approach. Because there's nothing cool about being broke. I think it's way better to maybe take some short term hit to your lifestyle to be able to save and to kind of accumulate some cash, savings and investments, etc.